You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
The wheel is turning and you can't slow down. You can't let go and you can't hold on. You can't go back and you can't stand still if the thunder don't get you.
Welcome back into my wheelhouse. Thanksgiving week. We're ready for some good eats in a couple days, but for now we just got to talk some basketball. I'm joined by Uncle Mike as usual. Uncle Mike, what's going on?
That's quite great to be here. Good week to be talking hoop.
Yeah, you got a pretty goofy shirt
I got a
on.
London update.
You have multiple London shirts.
Well, I
You
got a London
own way too
update,
many
though.
London Parenti shirts.
That's probably true. But he surfaced with the Canton Charge in the G League.
Okay.
He's averaging 13.7 and 3 assists.
That's
I
pretty
think he's
underwhelming.
buried.
That's
I
pretty
can't see when
underwhelming.
Tony Parker can come back, but
Yeah.
he's alive.
NBA players don't average 10 to 13 points a game in the D League.
If they're a point guard, maybe.
Okay. And to my right, Ben, welcome back on the show. What's going on?
It's great to be back. Great to be here.
Yeah, I agree. Virginia, you were at Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
Virginia.
Not a huge fan of that shirt.
I can't find you in your San Antonio uniform. That is not going to happen.
No, he's never worn one. And first appearance, my good friend Biddies. Welcome to the show, all the way from Chicago.
Feels
Wow.
good to be here. Long time watcher.
Yes, of course.
First time participant.
Wow, all the way in from Chicago.
Happy to have some
And
more
Mikey was in
fans
town, too. We could have had a Chicago
Dream come
contingent.
true.
Yes, we could have had Mikey on, but Mikey is
Mikey
probably
and
already
Biddies,
back.
That would be pretty cool.
He's probably already back in Chicago. So before we start, as usual, we're doing the medal. Sloan's not here, but it doesn't matter because he stinks because he didn't win. Mike finally gets
I've
the
got
medal
2
back.
wins, and it's like I've been trying to get strategies on doing this thing. I got a different strategy. I'm just,
You got new strategies
well,
for
it's
picking
just
games.
like I use my mother's strategy for winning the NCAA pool.
you just close your eyes and you touch a team.
No, if you have a relative that knows somebody that went to Syracuse, you pick Syracuse.
This is what happens.
If you like Philly cheesecake, you pick Philly.
for-
Boston baked beans, you pick Boston.
For everyone who doesn't know, our family every year does this poll where you pick 10 teams instead of picking a bracket for March Madness. And depending on what team wins in what round and what seed they are, you get more points. So my grandma, your mom,
Yep.
picked only teams that family members have attended.
Yes.
So like I went to
Wow, loyalty.
I think it was the year that UMass was in the tournament, and I went to UMass, so she picked UMass. And like we have a cousin that goes in Kentucky, so she got Kentucky. But like also like
Connecticut.
yeah,
Matt
yeah.
went to
So like
UConn.
random teams, and she like dominated. Like she won by a crap ton.
Does she contribute a certain amount to their cost of going to school? If
With
she
the
likes
winnings?
it there,
With
yeah.
the
If
winnings?
they go to Kentucky, a little bit
No,
more
I got
to your
lucky with that. I had
tuition.
smart kids.
Yeah, you did a good look. All right, so
look at
let's get to the wheel. I guess I don't know. We got some good variation of stuff. Maybe we'll talk about some Thanksgiving theme scene. Maybe not. A little squeaky wheel today. Maybe we got a WD-40.
We got Bill Simmons top 20.
All right, so we're going to start off with this. Bill Simmons had a podcast where he went over the top 20 players in the league right now. So if you're trying to win a championship right now and you're just going pick 1 to 2 to all the way to 30, what players would you pick? And pretty simple list overall, but there were a couple interesting players on there. So the top 10, real quick through it, he had LeBron, Durant, Harden, and then he had Giannis at 4. He put Kawhi at 5, but he said because Kawhi's injury, he put him a little bit lower because he hasn't seen him yet. Then he had Steph, Ant, Russ. He had Kyrie at 9. He had DeMarcus Cousins at 10. And then he had Draymond Green at 11, which I disagree with. And then he had Clay, Kristaps, and then he had Ben Simmons at 14.
Move him up.
And he had, then he had Blake, Embiid, Paul George, Marc Gasol, Jokic, and then CP3 and Drummond were tied for 20. So what do you think about that list?
Well, I think if he's looking at it, when did he pick this? 2
2 days
weeks
ago. No, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Well, then the number one, if I want to sign the team today,
Yeah.
it's Kyrie.
Really?
I'm sorry. It's Kyrie. I'm glad we got him. I'm glad they're 15-2. They won 15 in a row. There's nobody else I'd rather have on that could be doing the job that Kyrie Irving's doing for that team.
Well, it's not what player you want on the Celtics to be the best player in the Celtics. It's if you have 0 players in your roster and you're team XYZ and you're picking a player, it's that player. So LeBron James is still number 1.
Yeah.
You're not going to take Kyrie Irving over LeBron James.
He is. I don't know. I told you we talked about on LeBron last week, and I know you're on the other side
Yeah.
than me and Sloan were last week.
Yeah.
But
So-
I don't know whether I want LeBron, but I want some chemistry. I don't want LeBron's chemistry.
That helps.
LeBron.
So-
I don't.
so something that
I
I
don't
was-
want to have a coach. I don't want to play a coach.
Well, maybe you don't have access to a coach, so LeBron adds a little extra more in that sense. So something that was interesting and probably the one Bill probably got most heat for was Ben Simmons at 14. You said move him up.
he's not good.
But I
I mean,
mean,
starting a team. I mean, he's what, 19
Did
or
they rate
20?
him ahead of Embiid?
yeah, they did because
That's not right.
purely because if you draft Embiid to your team, there's a good chance he gets hurt and he can't even play
He's
in
still
the
going to
playoffs.
say that for a long time. With
You
him.
got to say it until he proves otherwise. So I think Ben Simmons is a top 30 player. So having him at 14 is pretty interesting. The guy still
I
can't
don't
shoot.
think he's rookie of the year.
Whoa.
That's a hard take.
Who's the rookie of the year?
The rookie of the year is Tatum.
Okay.
And the rookie of the year is Tatum because the other guys, the situation you're in is more important than where you're drafted. So these guys, they get drafted into a situation where they're going to be playing. Tatum gets drafted into a situation where most guys wouldn't even play, and he's excelling.
You don't think
And-
that Ben
and he's
Simmons
play-
would play a lot in this team? If the Celtics had Ben Simmons, would he not still be the favorite
not-
for the rookie of the year?
He wouldn't be playing point guard, so where would you play if you're not playing point guard? You would play off guard.
That's fine.
And I guess he would be. That would have to remain to be seen. But Tatum is doing that.
I don't know about that. We can talk about that
I
later.
think like
Yeah.
every other award, like whether it's all NBA, all defense, defensive player, being on a good team does matter. I think with rookie of the year, it is just straight stats.
Yeah, it's just stats. And it's,
I mean, they're both having
highlight
incredible
factor.
seasons.
Yeah,
Highlight
that's why
factor.
I think it's very impressive that Tatum has stats.
But
Yeah,
but so
right,
okay,
agree.
but in the same token, can't you give Ben Simmons a lot of props because he got put in a situation which was supposed to be maybe a little bit
Yes, I
poisonous,
do, yeah.
and he's turning it, and they're a playoff team.
I'm rating
They're
him
a
number
clear,
2.
they're a
right now.
clear playoff
So
team.
I would have him second.
I think that he's going to run away with the award. I love Tatum more than anything, and I'm so happy he's a Celtic. And if Ben Simmons was healthy last year, Jason Tatum would be a clear pick for the rookie year right now. But
And
that's
you're
not
probably
that's the way
right.
it
But what I
breaks
look
down.
at is like last year, and what's really interesting, I think, this year is the quality of the rookies. We saw that coming in, and now we're actually seeing it take place. Last year, I mean, look who won. Malcolm Brogdon, who I'm a Virginia guy, so I love him, but he won Rookie of the Year.
Right.
And everybody's kind of looking
He
at it
wouldn't be a
saying,
top
can we find
13
somebody
rookie
else
this
other
year?
than Malcolm
Who finished second?
Brogdon? You know, this year, right, he wouldn't be in the top 6 or 7. So you got Dennis Smith, who's playing real well.
I would drop it. I don't think Malcolm Brogdon's season last year isn't as good as
He's playing better this year.
12 players this year.
I mean, there were people who wanted to give it to Embiid last year when he played 30
because he
games.
deserved it. He deserved it. Yeah, he should have got it. He was the best rookie. He should have got it.
Yeah, 31
he was the best
games.
player.
It's not setting that precedent.
He's a top 20
Right,
player
right.
right now. You don't jump from not being the rookie of the year to being
oth-
the top 20
the
player
other
in the
rookie
league.
that I think is equal to Simmons and Tatum and Smith is Kuzma. And Kuzma, he just had 30 the other night.
He's consistent.
yeah. And he rebounds, and he runs, and he plays hard. He's out of the Pac-10 with Jalen Brown. I didn't really know that. Had a co-coach.
Well, it was a
Marek
no-
Kastrowiak was his coach.
Yeah, well, that's a-
had 2 pros on his team that are both with Toronto now. Right.
Well, his team
and
meant
Poetti.
nothing when he was there. His team didn't do anything. They didn't go to the tournament when
But
he was
what I'm
there.
saying is they got a lot of guys. He got people to look at him. At least he got in the league, and now he's. I think he's right up there. He's averaging 17 a game right now.
I'm excited for Kuzma. I like Kuzma. I think he's a dynamic scorer, and it looks like he's going to be able to do it for a while. I mean, I compared his jump shot dynamics to Clay, and like Clay is like the highest thing that you could compare it to.
compare it a little bit
And
to
he has a quick release, and he gets stuff with such confidence. I think he's going to be. I mean, you
in
could
the right
compare him
spot.
to Lonzo right now because they're on the same team, and I think they're neck and neck. Everyone's crapping on Lonzo, but you can talk about that when he comes up on the board later. But let's get back to this actual this
we
list.
will. So Simmons getting to be number 14.
Yes.
That's too much.
Simmons is out.
That's just a. I mean, if you're going to make a pick and you're going to be doing what Simmons did, I mean, get a little creative. Throw some people in there. Put Kyrie up to get some discussion. I don't care
Kyrie's at 9.
I know, but I mean, look at the other guys he's got. They're all Durant. I mean, right down the list.
He's not trying to be wild and make a crazy take. He's trying to be correct.
Why do it if it's obvious?
Because it's not obvious.
It's
He
not
has
obvious. And LeBron and
No.
Durant and Curry and
No, because he has Giannis. He has
the Greek
Giannis.
freak
He has
and
Giannis at 4 over Kawhi and Steph and
Well,
Russell Westbrook, who won
I
the
think the
MVP
Greek
last
freak
year.
is
That's
got-
not obvious.
even
That's-
No, Greek
even
freak is
Kawhi-
obvious. Giannis is obvious.
Even
not
Kawhi
number 4.
behind Harden, I think,
Yeah.
is pretty interesting because they went head-to-head in the playoffs, and it was pretty clear.
Yeah, he annihilated him. I think that's purely based
Where do you
because of
put
his
Davis?
injuries. Anthony Davis is 7th, ahead of Russell Westbrook. So, for the most part, I agree with the majority of his list. I did my own
It's a
list.
mismatch of people
I
that are the same.
I had Harden and Giannis below Kawhi and Steph because I think Kawhi is still the second best player in the league when he's healthy, and I think he's close enough to returning that he could be a top 5 player if he wanted to play right now. But I think the interesting discussion when looking at lists like this is comparing it when you think about it in previous years. So this year, I think it's pretty obvious that DeMarcus Cousins to this point has played like a top 10 player in the league. And last year you couldn't say that. Last year it was like, okay, based on talent, this guy's a top 20 player. And this year, based on performance, he's a top 10 player.
You do have to say he's had a couple bad games recently.
But even in his bad games, he's dishing out 6-7 assists. He's creating for teammates more than he ever has.
I want him to play as good as he can. So
he's
Anthony
playing
Davis
better defense
on the trade block. So Anthony Davis is available.
I don't think that's how it works. I think if DeMarcus Cousins plays poorly,
lousy,
he's on the
Davis
trade
goes?
block. I think if either one of them
Really?
play poorly, it's more likely that they're both on the move. I think
Okay.
if both of them are playing good,
But
it's more likely that
Cousins
they
is
stay.
on a one-year contract too, right?
Yeah, he's done this
expiring,
year.
yeah.
He's done this year.
Yeah.
I would argue that depending on context for this list, I wouldn't say anyone behind Simmons is someone that I take over Simmons if I'm starting a new team, because Simmons does more than a center like Blake Griffin or Embiid does for a team.
So he was saying that the context was this year alone. So this year you're picking a team and you're trying to win a championship. And I do think Ben Simmons is up there. I think he's a top 30 player. I think there are multiple teams in the league that he would be the best player on that team. And I think that his effect on the game, his IQ, his vision, his ability to create as a 6'10" point guard, his underrated defensive ability coming into the league. Everyone was slating him for that and saying that was going to be a weakness. He's incredible in passing lanes. On-ball defense is pretty surprising as a help defender. He's blocking shots at the rim. I think the only weakness that is keeping him out of the top 20 is the jump shot. And I think that'll come. And he's going to be a top 20 player next year.
I think a couple of the losses are very disturbing. And you got to say, like that loss to Golden State, they were up by, they scored 47.
Golden State does
But
that.
I mean, still, they scored 47 points in the first quarter. I would be looking to a top 10 player to lead my team to victory from that point, and not not have a third quarter like that. And I know Golden State comes out hard in the third quarter all the time, but they outscored them 47-15 in the third quarter after they had a 23-point lead.
I think
and you got to reflect on your best players in that situation. Why didn't Embiid and Simmons take control of that situation and stem the tide?
Well,
they were playing.
so
third quarter, they played.
Embiid got subbed out of the game because of a couple bogus fouls that got called in the third quarter, so he wasn't in the game to contribute. And when that
You're
team
a master of the bogus foul.
there's lots of bogus
You
fouls.
always call a bogus foul as something that happened. Like, I'm trying to remember the one. It was like something happened. And it was like, oh well, no, Philadelphia Blues an 8-point lead in the last 50 seconds of the game.
Wait.
And you said
Are you talking about? Okay, so you're trying to tell me James Harden didn't shove Draymond? Whatchamacallit? James Harden shoved Joel Embiid on the play. Joel Embiid couldn't contest the shot.
Losing an 8-point lead in the
It
last
has
50
everything to
seconds.
do
No,
with
it
being able to
doesn't.
stop the last shot.
Last 50 seconds and they blow an 8-point lead and you're going to focus on the unwarranted foul.
They lost the game. I'm not acting like they won the game. I'm just saying like bogus fouls are something that exists.
So Golden State swamps them because Embiid has a couple bad fouls.
I'm saying they swamp him because they have three of the best shooters in the league right now, and they got hot. And it
thank
makes
God
sense.
Steph didn't have that. Boy, what a difference. Golden State from the Celtics in terms of shooting. I know the defense is there for the Celtics. We'll talk more about that when it comes up. He was 3 for 9 against the Celtics.
I had Steph at 4. What's up with his hair? It's disgusting.
It's terrible. It's
Why
some of the
did
worst,
he- why
it's some
does
of
he
the
have the
worst hair in
hairstyle?
NBA history.
Oh my God.
It's an
I'm so
awkward
distracted
face.
by
I
his
think he's
mouth
going
guard.
for
I don't even
something.
see
Awkward
his hair.
face.
Yeah,
You know, it's
he's going
like
for
the
something
mouth guard
bigger.
just hanging out of his mouth, and it's all the time. That's all I see is the mouth guard.
So you haven't even noticed his new
I
hair.
have noticed it. Yeah.
It looks like a bunch of like leeches coming
It's
off
like
his
hair
head.
plugs, but it's worse. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I
even
agree.
know.
No, I don't. Maybe a color. I don't know. It looks fake. Like it looks like he looks like Hellraiser.
Someone,
that
you
weird,
think
like,
someone would
supervillain.
tell him how bad it looks, and maybe they have. I just don't know why he's still.
Maybe Aisha
you
has
gotta
bad
check it
taste
out.
in hair.
Maybe he's going for like a new signature. He's all about building the brand.
Yeah,
He's
he's an
doing
Under
a
Armour
bad
guy.
job.
So,
He's
yeah.
doing a bad job choosing Under Armour and making bad hairstyles. So just more interesting things about the list. I think that it's obvious that Kristaps is a top 15 player, which is something that's pretty interesting because he had him at 13 on this list and his list, and when I was making my list, I had him at 13 or 14 as well, and I couldn't really argue
Last
whether
4
or
games
not.
he shot 34%.
And
I'm
that's
a Kristaps guy.
And that's going to happen. He's going to have games where he shoots himself into
They're
bigger
starting to
slumps.
question whether there's something wrong with his elbow.
Yeah, well, I think
And he
that's
won't
real.
have an MRI taken. He doesn't want to deal with it until after the season. He's starting to wear a sleeve on it all the time.
I think when they start to lose some more games, maybe he'll look into it more, and I think that that's something he should take care of while they're still bad.
Well, the Knicks should shut him down if that's the case, because they should get a good draft pick.
They should. I don't know what they're doing, but like I think that there could be something there. Even with
he's
it
a top 15 player.
I think at full health, he's easily a top 15 player. His ability, you could just see it in games against opponents that were reputable, against the Pacers and against the Hornets. He won them those games single-handedly. They were down by 10-plus points, and he brought them back in the fourth quarter on plays on both ends of the floor. So I was very impressed with him. Something I thought was interesting, a couple snubs. He had John Wall, Karl Towns, and Damian Lillard all not on this list, and I would argue that all three of those guys are definitely top 10, 20 players.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They
I
are-
think just an experience, you've got to take John Wall over Ben Simmons. I mean, just on
I agree.
experience.
Yeah. I agree.
So,
I agree.
And Wall's hurt right now, I guess, because he's missed a little
slightly.
bit. And they've had a couple bad
I mean,
games.
that's even a player who doesn't even have that much of a reputation as a shooter, but like he's in there obviously.
Top of the line player. It's tough. I mean, you're only picking 20 players. That's why I say get creative with it and don't just go with the stock guys.
You got to go LeBron #1.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I know. And it's
So,
just like
so what do you
LeBron
want
for
the top 20
MVP.
to be? What do you want the top 20 player to be? Like what?
Well, who's the best? Who today?
Yeah.
Sitting here today in the league
Yeah.
right now.
Right.
Who's the best player? And
LeBron James. And
I
there's
think
the-
it's Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie Irving's the MVP.
Okay, well that's a different argument because MVP is a situational award, and
A lot of
it's
times
it's
it's
more
best player.
it's more.
No,
it isn't.
Well, a lot of times it
Storyline.
is.
Storyline. It's always storyline. It always has been storyline. Derrick Rose
guess.
doesn't deserve MVP. Karl Malone doesn't deserve an MVP. Steve Nash doesn't deserve 2 MVPs. Like
It's
storyline.
Like, yeah. So it's
But I mean, Kyrie's a top 4 candidate right now, top 2 candidate.
Okay.
I'm good on this list. Whatever's next, unless you guys have something.
Good list. I like Bill Simmons too.
He's a good guy. Definitely need to oil up the wheel. So best case, worst case scenarios. I just wanted to do some quick stuff. I guess we can bleed this into a Celtics conversation because I wanted to base it off of what you think the best case, worst case season ending for the Boston Celtics are.
Oh my God.
80-2, I would think.
Look, I told you, I'm not picking against them the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I got one concern about them.
Okay.
And it is that, especially with the younger players, that you got Tatum this year. He's going to be faced with playing virtually 3 college seasons. 3 sets of 30 virtually with the exhibition games and the playoffs and everything.
Yeah. I was confused.
Are they going to hit a wall? In terms of how intense the play is right now, I've been talking to a couple of people, my wife and James, I was talking to him last night, and
Baby James.
I think what would have been good for that team, and I think Brad Stevens might even agree, is if they lost that Golden State game in a tight game right at the end, they would have saved face, everything would have been good, and they could have moved on from the streak. Because the streak now has got them playing at full intensity every game, full blast, full bore, Tatum, everybody, with all the lights on them, all the focus on them. There's 66 more games to go. That's a long time to maintain that edge, and that worries me a little bit.
Biddies, when does the streak end?
I would say I think we're going to take the 20-game franchise record, and after that, we'll probably drop off.
I could see that as well. The opponents that we have coming up just aren't anything to be nervous about. I mean,
That's not true because when you look at the games this year, you've had so many games that have been unpredictable with the lower level teams, including Dallas, and that have the Kings.
so
that have
Eventually,
won
the
games.
comeback isn't going to come, but
They've won games when you didn't think they were going to
so
win games.
we have 15 wins right now. The next 5 games to get to 20 are Dallas. They're one of the 4 worst teams in the league.
The worst team in the league.
So
they all 3 losses.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right. Miami, a team that I'm extremely suspect. The Orlando Magic, who are falling back down from Neptune, wherever they were in the first 5 games of the season. Indiana Pacers, who have come back down a little bit, but are still playing
well.
Still playing better than expected in the beginning of the season. I still think that's got to be a win. And then the 20th game is something where there could be a hiccup. It's at home though, so I think that helps us against the Detroit Pistons, who have been playing well. And
I think every game is dangerous.
We could lose any of those games.
Including tonight against Dallas.
But at the same time, aren't we on borrowed time? Like, who cares?
Yeah, who
if we lose
cares?
any of
I
these
agree.
games?
That's
You know
what I'm saying.
I mean? Like,
I almost would rather
Play with
have them
house
lose
money
and
right
move
now,
on.
I'm
I'm more concerned about what the record's going to be after 50 games after.
of course, obviously.
well, we're talking best case, worst case, and best case was out the window 6 minutes into the season.
Yes.
So
Yes.
really,
So we
everything,
Yeah.
everything that's happening right now, you just gotta be happy
Borrowed
about. And I think if we drop a game, we'll
I think
hop right back up.
Best case is a world championship.
I think
I think you gotta
best
say that.
best case is 6 games in the finals.
Best case. Okay.
I don't know if I can give it. I mean, if there's an injury, okay. Best case is one of the major players in the Warriors gets injured and we win the championship. So I guess there's a path to us getting there. But I just think that for all the Ducks to be in a row, it's unlikely.
Well, it's the same thing. You're not going to say worst case is if
Yeah,
Kyrie
that's
gets
true.
injured.
That's true. Right. Yeah. So he can't.
So worst case, I think, is they hit a wall and they start losing some games.
I think worst case is a 4th seed.
I mean, I would say
That's a terrible case.
I would say top 2
Yeah.
is pretty likely at this
Yeah.
point.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Worst case. Like I don't think we have that far to
Cleveland's
fall.
starting to surface, though I'd like to see them lose tonight.
to see them
But
lose every
I
night,
think the
right?
sleeper team there, and you guys haven't agreed with me yet on, is Toronto. I really do. I think Toronto.
Barkley agrees. Barkley said the other day he
They've
doesn't see the
changed their
Celtics
style
beating
of
the
play.
Wizards
you gotta,
or the
you gotta
Raptors.
deal with it. I know Sloan was saying, I can't stand how they play. They don't play that way no more.
No, they changed their game. They're much more of a
They shoot the three
they
like
have
crazy.
They have a modern day ball ball style, but it's
move the
interesting
ball better?
because I don't think they have enough players that fit that style. So
They have a lot of bigs.
I think they're third offensive rating.
yes, right now they're 11 and 6 or 11 and 5, so they're playing well, and they're playing well lately. They beat the Rockets the other day, and that might have been a game where Harden didn't play that well, so I don't know how real that is. Obviously, a win's a win, and against a good team like that, it matters. But I just don't trust this team. They've proven that they've been very not able to depend upon
Miles?
CJ Miles.
He hit 10 or 22 threes last week.
Because
they won 3 games. He hit 10 out of 22 threes off the bench.
Because
averaged 13.7 points a game off the bench.
History
hit him against the Celtics.
History shows that when CJ Miles has hot streaks, that means he's having a blistering cold streak coming. And when he goes 10 for 22 or 15 for 30
That's a lot of threes he's shooting.
over a 8-game stretch, that means the next 15 games he's going to be awful, and he's not going to be able to hit an ocean. So we
saw him against the Celtics. He looked
did play
real
very
good.
well
He's got
against
the
a
Celtics. He looks
quick
good.
release.
He plugs in for what's his name, Terrence Ross, but I don't think he really does much
And
more
then
than
who's
what
the other
Terrence
guy?
Ross did. for them.
How do you say his name?
OG Anunoby.
Anunoby. I think he's a good player.
I like him. He's a good rookie.
So that's
They had him
new-
third
that's
on the
new
rookie
blood
ranking
that
today.
team
Yeah,
that
so-
is helping.
I like him as a defender, and he's going
So
to
I
be good,
think
but
that-
he's
I
not going to
think
help them win games. The problem right now is their team. They made adjustments, and their role players changed from being these old guys that were kind of gritty on both ends of the ball. They had like DeMar Carroll and a couple other guys like
Right.
that, Corey Joseph,
Right.
and they switched it to all young players and just giving these young guy roles. They got Van Vliet, and they got Jakob Poeltl, and they got OG, and they're like, okay, with these young guys, they're able to run.
And it was
We're going
all
to try
is-
to employ this
It was
new
all
style.
isolation for Lowry and DeRozan. There was no three-point
Pascal
shooting.
Siakam.
Yeah, Siakam, he's
That's
actually
a
been
change.
okay.
But I think they're a threat. When we were talking about best and worst case scenario, I think Toronto's a threat to the Celtics.
I'm not nervous. They don't make me nervous. I just don't
We
think that.
haven't traditionally played well against them. They usually compete against us very strongly anyways.
Okay, let's do some more best case, worst case. What's the best case, worst case for the Philadelphia 76ers?
Under 500 is the worst.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Under 500 is the worst.
Best case, I think they could make it to the second round playoffs.
I think best case is conference
I
finals.
got a best case.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Best case, they beat Cleveland.
That's the same thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they beat Cleveland, whether it's in the first round or second round.
They match up great against them.
Well, that would be a wonderful
They're-
thing for
they're-
us, Celtics.
They're
fans.
tough to match against. I mean, they match up pretty well against every team.
That's true. They're shooting on the perimeter. Cleveland isn't going to be able to stop.
Yet
Ben
they had
Simmons.
when you're up by 23 and then you're down by 25, that's a 47-point spread.
Hey, you want to know
understand.
who was up by 17 last week?
Celtics, I know. I'm going to say
Warriors.
the Celtics. And it happened twice in the same game where they came
The
back.
thing with the Warriors that I mean, it's tough to try to talk positively about blowing a 23-point deficit or whatever it was. The Warriors can do that. They can just fill it up.
They can do it in a hurry.
Yeah.
And when you
If
got
the Sixers
Steph
were up
shooting like
23
that.
against anyone else in the league, they're not going to come back.
That's the only team that does that.
Oh
is the
yeah, but they
Warriors.
can be up 8 with 50 seconds left, and unless Embiid got fouled, I know they would have done
Fouled.
okay. But they still
Probably got
blew
fouled.
that game. That was a bad game.
I don't know. Refs are.
They should have won that game.
I agree, but I mean they're a young team and they're having some issues. Best case, worst case, our changes as a team going into next year.
Changes for the Celtics? Or?
Yeah, roster changes. Best
Are you
case,
talking
worst.
about my wheelhouse?
Yeah, maybe. Best case, worst case. Celtics roster changes, 2018, 2019.
I think we already said the best case.
Anthony Davis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's the worst?
At what
case?
cost?
But
At what
when you
cost?
say that,
That's
is it okay to be at the expense of Jaylen Brown?
No,
That's what I'm saying.
It's not.
It's not, is it?
I don't think so.
That's
So
interesting.
I was talking
That's
to Biddies before
interesting.
we came over here, and I was
Why not?
saying, if we land a top 5 pick, and that it looks like the top 5 is pretty cemented in as players that the teams that are in the bottom of the barrel are going to be wanting
The
to
Lakers
get.
are 7-10 right now.
Yeah,
that's
they're
not bottom
they're,
5.
No, they're bad. They're going to be a bottom 6 team, so I'm just nervous that we're going to get the 6th pick instead of the 5th pick because
Yeah.
that's where the
It's
talent
7-10.
drops off. But they're not going to be better than the 6th or 7th best. They're gonna like you're talking about us maybe hitting the wall. Their team has a lot of players that might hit a wall, and Kuzma is still playing
Brook Lopez
off
will
the
get
charts. Yeah, Brook Lopez will probably get injured. I don't trust KCP to be able to carry a team to do anything. I like the pieces that they have, and I'm excited to watch Laker basketball because it's some interesting stuff that's going on. But I don't think they're over a 6.
I think Lonzo Ball's a steadying influence, believe it or not, like on that team. The minutes he plays, irregardless of what he's doing, the rest of them seem to play at a level with him on the floor that's pretty strong. I think he's going to prove over the course of a season to keep that team on a more even keel than maybe you think.
Maybe.
Yeah, the trade market for star players went insane over the last
of
summer.
course.
So it's tough to predict what Davis would go for, but I have a hard time imagining that New Orleans gives him up for anything less than like a great prospect like
Jaylen Brown.
and
a draft pick,
and
and
a
a draft
high
pick.
pick as well.
Right. That's what I'm nervous about. I don't want that. I don't want that trade. I mean, I love Anthony Davis more than anything, but I mean, Jaylen Brown's my favorite player in the league. I don't want to move Jaylen
but
Brown.
then you get two superstar top 10 players under Brad Stevens in their prime.
Why can't we trade the pick, the Clippers pick, and Al Horford for Anthony Davis?
Because Al Horford's going to win MVP.
I think Horford's earned his spot.
I love that.
I think he's a heart and soul
I
guy.
don't think we need Anthony Davis. I don't know. I mean, like
Right now,
Maybe
with our
not, but I
pieces,
mean,
I don't know. I
As
don't know
our
if-
pieces continue to develop,
Well,
we
when you're
don't.
thinking
It's just
of
if you have
adding a
opportunities,
piece-
If you get Anthony Davis, you get Anthony Davis.
and I'm saying this
Take
too,
the
like I
talent
said it
and
last
run.
week, I think the piece that's on that team where they can get it for the 8.4 exception, I think they need a shooter on the second team. That's what I think. I think they
Yes.
need a shooter on that second
agree.
team, and so they need somebody that can steady out Rozier and Smart, who I
A
love.
few too many Marcus Smart isolations.
Yeah,
You want CJ Miles.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know which. I'm trying to think of it. It's not Joe Green, so I don't know who it is for that 8-4 that would be the shooter. But that would help that team. A
you
lot of
definitely
people
need a
think it is another big, and that Al Horford is too thin in back of Al Horford with Tyson on Baines.
I think that's a great backup.
Yeah,
I
we could use
think
one
it
more
is.
Body, though.
Baines isn't contributing anywhere near at the same level now that Morris has moved into the lineup because he's not getting the same
shooting
time.
four. Bring Jerebko back.
I think Baines-
Jerebko is starting and had a
looks
good
so
game
much
last
like
week.
Ty.
Yeah, because they have a lot.
I know,
Similar.
But Jerebko had a good game last
All right,
week.
let's go back to the wheel.
I think he had 17. So
I like Jerebko. Big fan of Jerebko. Master Jerebko. Okay,
Thankful.
Thanksgiving's coming up. This question's pretty simple. What are you thankful for? Biddies? Ben?
Ooh, that was bad.
That wasn't
no.
Bad.
I'll
Sheamus.
Thanks.
No. Hey, I'll cross over right away. I am thankful for Tom Brady. I'm telling you.
yeah.
I mean, I am so. And I said I got a daughter in South Carolina where they hate the guy and they lynch him if they saw him down there. But when we saw that game yesterday and we saw Mexico, Brady, Tom Brady. I mean, that was absolutely awesome to see that. Then he completes 13 passes in a row. He's at the top of his game. And then the most staggering stat I saw in the whole thing was that 8th victory became the most victories ever by a quarterback over 40. He's still got 3 years to go over 40 where he's going to win 12 or 13 games.
Yeah.
This guy deserves to be put on Mount Rushmore across the country. I love him and I'm thankful for him.
I agree. I'm definitely very thankful for Tom Brady. You guys got something? Doesn't have to be a person. Could be something specific.
I was going to go ahead and be thankful for DeMarcus Cousins
Yes.
being an All-NBA player because he was going to be
Absolutely.
the most talented guy to never make a team.
You can't say he's not an all-NBA talent.
Knives in the gut, you know.
Watched it.
He's thankful for DeMarcus Cousins.
Me too.
I'm
I'm
not thankful for the smell.
I was going to say I'm just thankful every day for Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
The
The
day, when the day comes that Brad Stevens leaves, and I hope it doesn't ever come, that's going to be a sad day in Boston.
Yeah, we hope he's here for a long. Is he 40 yet?
41?
Yeah.
He turned
So he's
41 last week?
41. I think he's the number one coach in the league because Pop is getting to a point where you
passed
wouldn't
him, I
want
said
Pop
that the
because
other
it's so we got the best coach in the league and we got the best
Pop,
GM too.
I don't think you can usurp Pop yet. I think
No,
Pop
but
is number two, and it's a clear number two. Like, I think it's an obvious number two.
Who
And
else
I
is
think,
in the? Is there
Yeah.
anyone else? Oh, Kerr.
But Brad
I think
just
Kerr's-
got him.
I think Steve Kerr's a good coach, but I
dealt a
think
pretty good hand.
Yeah, it's you
He
can
almost
you
made
can
my
do a
worst
pretty
dress
good job.
list on Kerr,
Luke-
but I give him a
Luke
little
Walton-
slack
whoa,
in
whoa,
the
whoa,
back.
I think Steve Kerr absolutely makes the worst dress
I was
list.
there, but you know who the
Did you
worst
see that
dress-
outfit he did?
No,
The tribute-
it's
the
awful.
tribute suit, what was that? What
But he
was
didn't make my
wearing?
top four. I mean, the worst
like a cokehead
dress
from
coach in
the
that league is
30s.
Brad Stevens.
What is it?
Brad Stevens.
Worst dress coach?
He's the worst dress coach.
Nah, get
Watch
out of
it day in and day out.
Yeah.
He has no idea what he's doing. He needs to be in gym clothes. Has to be in gym clothes.
You could hire me, Brad. I'll be your. I'll be
No,
your
he's got to
stylist.
hang out with Gordon Hayward more.
And if you had-
Gordon got the
Wow,
haircut.
he
He
looks
got
great.
to
Oh,
teach it to
Gordon looks
Brad.
I mean, if you had all that
Send it
money,
back.
I mean, one of the things I would do is, look at me, right? But I mean, geez, I would love
London
to
Prentice.
wear
You need
nice.
some
I would-
fashion.
yeah, well, I
London
got-
Prentice.
yeah, and I got medal. I got a medal too.
UMass medal.
I think Tibbs is a horrible dress coach, obviously.
Yes, definitely. He doesn't
And,
care
and
what
then
he
when I
looks
try to think of the best dress coaches, I can't think of any. I'm going with Spoelstra.
He
I'm
cares.
going,
He
I'm
cares
going
a
with
lot about what he looks
Casey.
like.
Casey.
Miami.
Quinn Snyder cares about what he looks
Quinn
like.
Snyder's not bad. You're right. I forgot about him.
He is pretty good. He's
I thought
Maybe like the
I'm a
Scarecrow
Hoiberg.
Batman.
Hoiberg's pretty good.
Yeah. Can we get an honorary Pat Riley? He,
Yeah.
Oh,
came
he's
into the game
probably
dripping with
just for
class.
the hair alone.
Yeah,
but yeah, he dresses
all
well. I always look at how they tie the tie. You know, and
tells you?
Well,
you know what? They're gonna
okay, so Tyrone Lue gets. Man, that tie's bigger than his neck.
He might not know how to tie a tie. He might not know how to tie a tie.
He's one of the worst. He's one of the 4 worst
Oh
with
my God, he's
Tibbs.
terrible. I'm going to go a little bit more abstract. I'm thankful for DHgate and Nike Expressions. A lot of my swag that I've purchased across time has been very cheap.
Savers?
Savers as well, yeah. Shout out Savers. All of the entities that I've purchased things for over the time, NBA related, I'm very thankful for those, and I'm going to continue to expand.
Did you see the new
to the show.
sneakers, the Kyrie sneakers?
Awesome. We were talking about the way over.
Wow, that's
those are
pretty-
beautiful. I want them, but they're like $2,000.
Really?
Yeah, it's limited edition.
They're
There's
starting in 1900.
Oh,
so.
okay.
there's like
Get 'em all there.
100
I
pairs.
think they
of
should
something
put leprechauns instead of shamrocks.
like that. A bunch of little leprechauns. That would be crazy.
Sheamus and I were saying the other day, we're waiting for the Shamrock or Leprechaun gold Celtics jersey.
Yeah, well, I want a gold jersey.
Gold.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
old school
Well, Christmas
Wizards.
is coming.
Yes, exactly. That's Ray. Shout out Ray.
I think
and
we got
goodbye.
the
That's his
Sabres in
favorite
this
jersey.
area. I'll go to
Gilbert?
Sabres. I'll see if there's anything.
Yeah, check me out.
Okay.
All right, spin the wheel. Shout out Thanksgiving. Mike, what's your favorite Thanksgiving meal?
Well, it's turkey, mashed potatoes, candy, sweet potatoes, and applesauce.
That was like 5 things.
That's a meal. You said meal.
Oh, touche.
Favorite dessert?
Yeah. Favorite dessert.
I'll go with Mom's apple pie.
Okay.
She has a good apple pie. I agree. Yeah, let's talk about the Boston Celtics. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, 15-2, 15-game win streak. We're lighting it up. Just coming off a win off the Atlanta Hawks. We started a little sloppy, but Jaylen Brown and Kyrie finished a combined 20 for 25. Jaylen Brown setting a new
And 9 for 12 from the 3.
Yep, Jaylen Brown setting a new career high. Our team is looking great. In the past couple games, I was nervous in the first half about Jason Tatum maybe being a little tentative, but he came out in the
14
second
in
half
the third quarter.
in both games, and he looks awesome. Incredible.
How'd you like
plays.
those steals?
Steals with back-to-back
Were
fast
they
break,
awesome?
coast-to-coast dunks.
One off on they were fantastic. Bazemore and those 2 dunks, they were amazing.
They're
Best play for the Celtics
Okay.
this week.
Ready?
Tell me if it's happened before. Kevin Durant gets his jump shot blocked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has that happened?
Yes, it does every once in a while. Not very
Yeah,
often.
I haven't ever
Not
seen
often.
it.
No,
So-
that was a great. Yeah.
so-
I haven't ever seen it.
So Kevin Durant
Taking a straight up jump shot, and I mean the guy's 6'11" and he's way up here, and I'm thinking of who would be playing him that would block that shot. I mean, Jaylen Brown almost needed a running start to get a piece of that ball from the side.
Kevin Durant, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Kevin Love,
What about him?
and then there's like 2 other players are shooting a combined 30% from the field when guarded by Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing
He's an elite defender. He might be an
Alright.
all
should
NBA
be.
defender this year. He might be.
He might be most
conversation.
improved
He
player.
might be. He might be.
Most
an all-
improved is a good
He
one.
might
too.
be most improved player.
I wouldn't be surprised if he continued this tear. And something I was talking about on coming into the Toronto game is that if he strings together a couple games where he makes big plays down the stretch on high, like prolific, like offensive players,
Yeah.
like DeRozan, like Kevin Durant, like these type of guys, that he could piece together all defensive team campaign. And I think that he absolutely has the tools and the tenacity to get there. And I think he's my pick to be on the second team.
Total highlight reel on the other end of the
Oh my
floor
God,
too,
it's so
and
exciting
he's
to watch.
he's finishing better with his athleticism
He is.
as well.
He's definitely. You can tell he's
I
learning.
love the spin. I mean, that is quick, boy. That is really tight and quick and really
His
good.
dunks are getting meaner.
I'm wondering again. It's probably it's 4 or 5 days after it happened, so we can talk about it a little bit. But the death of his friend
Yeah.
pushed him to a new level.
Yeah.
And you wonder, it did. Like those last 2 games, he's played at
He's
a level
out of his
that
mind.
excels that, and that's kind of a weird psychological thing to understand why that would push you not just for 1 game or for 1 quarter, but hopefully to a new level of play.
Some people it
that's more-
motivates them differently. I mean, we've
but,
seen in the past.
I
with
hope
Isaiah
it's not
Thomas,
Yeah.
I hope there's not a come down
lull,
from
a lull.
that.
Yeah, there could
that
be,
comes
but,
from it. But
I mean,
he was fabulous.
obviously he's been fantastic.
In those 2 games, hit 4 out of 5 threes again. You're looking good in that bet again.
looking good.
He's just starting to slide a little bit on it.
He's back up to 41%
looks
right
good.
now. I think.
I like to
have
talk
to
about
see-
Tatum a little bit. I think I think he has really proven himself to be quite a player. And one of the things that I see that he is better at than Jaylen Brown, I think he's a more poised player.
Yeah.
And even at a 19-year-old, and 3 games ago, it was against Brooklyn. It's late in the game. It's like a 2-possession game. There's 2 loose balls in a row, and Tatum gets the loose balls, protects it, brings it in, all he wants is possession. The next time there's a loose ball, Jaylen Brown takes it and rushes it to the hoop as fast as he can because he's just so, not out of control, but he doesn't have the same poise that that Tatum has. I think that is amazing. I thought Tatum, what player does he remind you of in NBA history?
Tatum?
Yeah. Nobody in particular?
People say Pierce, but
I don't. That's the one I'm not buying.
yeah, I don't really see
He's
that.
better than all the comps I
I
had him
see
for.
Alex
I
English.
compared him.
I see Alex English in this guy.
He's less finesse and more.
He's got plenty of finesse.
Right, but he's got more athleticism and less finesse. Alex English was all finesse, and he was all about.
I think Tatum's got a lot of finesse. I know. But
I agree.
That's the
Tatum has
closest
some
one I can
finesse, and
think
he's
to
different.
it. But I would also say
big.
that Tatum has a signature move that I don't know whether anybody else in the NBA takes it to the hoop with as big of a first step and as long of a finish.
His reach is
right
right.
I know Giannis does it, but I'm got a feeling this guy might even be longer at the end.
He had-
left and right hand.
He had a
it's
great,
amazing.
great finish against Golden State
Yeah.
late in the game.
Where he just escapes that last
yeah,
defender
Draymond
with
got in
an
position for
extension.
the charge, and he
That's
just
very bad.
worked his way right around him. It was incredible.
I'm enjoying him, and I am going to continue. You guys, what do you feel about the J team for a nickname?
Yeah.
So
You like that?
I do.
Okay, we're gonna know. We finally got a vote for it.
I like
it's
it.
better than J Crew. It's better than the officer.
Jake
better than the officer and the
I
gentleman.
know J. Crew is pretty good.
I didn't like that.
I just like
I
saying.
think you do need a name for them.
I just like saying Jalen Tatum because you call Jalen
Jalen
Brown.
Tatum's not bad.
I just like
I
you
just
call
keep
Jalen Brown
saying-
Jalen and you call
I know
Jalen
I
Tatum
did
Tatum,
it, but
so why
I
not
keep
just make it
saying
one name?
I keep saying J team. Whenever I talk to him, I say the J team.
I don't know. Usually I'm
Jays.
talking about one out
And
of
we
time.
still haven't
Take
seen
my
them
time.
both play well together in a long time. It's like they're trading back and forth.
I think they've come down to the mean, and they both played well. And you could say that. I mean, Tatum played great in that game that Jalen went.
Well, I
10
don't
for
think they
13.
both. I see a game where they both score 25.
That's
I
what
feel
you
like that
want.
comes
That's
back to
gonna
what you
happen
say
soon.
though about Tatum. He's never. I can't really think of a time, or maybe a couple instances this year, where Tatum's ever tried to do too much. You see every day in the box score, even if he misses his first 4 or 5 shots, you'll see he only attempts 8 shots. He's never trying to do
Always
too much.
finishes right
I
around
think that's
50%.
Stevens because
Yeah.
Stevens has given
But
all
Brown-
those guys.
Brown was out of
leeway.
control a lot
He
last
just
year.
wants these guys doing what they do over and over again. He wants Marcus Smart in that game, and he wants Marcus Smart making decisions. And I love what he says about Marcus Smart. He says Marcus Smart. He said he's had a personal talk with a guy and told him, "There's nobody on this team that knows what I want to do on offense and defense better than you, Marcus Smart."
I agree.
And so
Marcus Smart does make me nervous when he has the ball on offense, but I'm confident
Yeah.
in that more times than not, he's going to make a good decision. And when he shoots
His
it,
passing.
obviously, are nerve-wracking. But as a creator, in terms of in the pick and roll, and especially off ball, as someone who can catch, penetrate, and then dish back out, he's great.
He's 3 times improved from when he came into the league. His
Oh,
passing
God,
is maybe
easily,
more. Yeah, his
easily.
well, he
passing
is
is really
shooting
good.
26%.
Yeah,
Which is
that's-
terrible.
That's all right.
Well, how low can you go?
I know. I was
Further than that.
Very much forgotten because the series is already over, but he had a huge game against Cleveland
Yes.
last year in the
He
conference
did.
finals. And, LeBron James was on the floor.
The
with
game
him.
that IT was out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he went off.
And then they say he worked with Chauncey Billups all summer, and his shot was
Big shot,
there,
big shot.
and everything was good. And
I
now
mean,
you see him
every
shooting-
summer league,
now
we
you see
think
him-
it's there. We see him hit 4 threes,
And I
5
think
threes
in the
a
last
game.
6 games, he's shooting 21%.
All I want is for him to be able to shoot the ball. Like,
Yeah.
that would make me
How
so
incredible
happy. I
he was.
love
We
Marcus.
can do that for Christmas. What we wish for a shot. Please.
What about the big dogs? How about Kyrie and Al? Any new impressions on them that's a little bit different than what you've seen in the first couple weeks, in our most recent games?
Yeah, I think you're seeing the real Kyrie, and we didn't see that in Cleveland.
No.
We didn't see Kyrie Irving. We didn't see the full thing of Kyrie Irving. We saw it, kind of what, and I hate to say that, I guess, but where LeBron wanted him to play, what he wanted him to do, in his shadow, so to speak. And now you're seeing that he's a real team player. He's tremendous. I mean, he may be a better, more reliable guy than Isaiah Thomas in the clutch. I know Thomas would score more points,
tough, yeah.
but I think that he is a legitimate MVP candidate if that team is going to excel the way
There's
it's
definitely a
excelling.
little bit of a recency bias in that take because Isaiah Thomas had the most clutch season of all time last year, and this year Kyrie has been phenomenal, and he's averaging something like per 36 minutes in clutch time, which is like 5 minutes left in the game within a score of 5 points.
Because he doesn't come in the fourth quarter,
He's
so
averaging
6 minutes to
something,
go.
He's averaging something like 45 points and like something like ridiculous in
Yeah.
the post per 36, and he's losing his mind. But if you compare him to IT's numbers last year, IT still gets the edge. But it's like a pretty happy medium because I think Kyrie has different contributions that IT did not have.
Yeah, I think Kyrie and Horford work off of each other. It's a bit more balanced relationship, whereas IT was really benefiting from Horford, and Horford was kind of just standing around when IT
Very
would
true.
drive to the
Very
hole.
true.
Very good point.
It's they complement each other very well. So
Yeah.
it goes from Horford to Kyrie the same way it's going from Kyrie to Horford.
Yeah.
There's a real meeting of the minds there. I think Al Horford is just really good teammate, solid guy that you can plug into. And I think that was Kyrie's anchor when he came down. On the court, the anchor was Al Horford, and so he plugged into that style of play. And I had said before it was going to be Hayward's style of play that the whole team would gravitate toward. It ends up being Horford with Kyrie gravitating that, and Stevens is getting everybody to do. He's got so many buttons to push, and they're all working. But legitimately, he's got a couple things I would say about that Golden State game. It was quite a game, and
Great game.
And, I think one interesting thing is everybody was saying, well, they held Golden State to 88. Last March they held them to 86.
Right.
And people forgot about that a
We're
little bit.
3 out of the last 5 against
But
Golden State.
the way that game played, I think as a fan, it's one of the most distinctive refereeing balances in my favor of it, and not that they were bad calls, but that
some bogus calls.
They really weren't. But that the Celtics were they were 33 for 38 from the line, and Golden State was 12 for 18. And down the end of that game, there was so much defensive contact by the Celtics that the refs let them play. They did.
That
And
one
then
block, that Jalen block was a foul. That Jalen block was a foul. It was awesome. I loved it.
That
It
just
was
kept
electric, but it
happening.
was a foul.
They allowed them to play that physical defense, and the referees let them play. And as a fan, it was great. And then when you went down the other end, when we created things to the hoop, the whistle was blowing all the time. And I don't think they were bad calls.
No, they weren't bad calls on us. It was just
And
bad no calls.
I'll chump Draymond for you. I know.
He played awful.
No, I'm not chumping him for that. I'm chumping him for his post-game press conference when they asked him what they thought about the Celtics, and he said they made a lot of foul shots.
Yeah. Steph
that's what
Curry
he
had a
said.
much better response.
Yeah, and they made a lot of foul shots. Okay, Draymond.
Draymond Green doesn't have a good head on his shoulders. I don't think he has.
He's a good villain.
Everyone says he has a good feel for the game. I really don't think his IQ is that high. I don't know. And in the game, he made so many silly mistakes.
But
bad
award.
award giving out. Bad job by the committee, whoever chose that. He made so many miserable entry passes to players that weren't ready for the ball.
Then yelled at them.
Yes, exactly. It's always everyone. When mistakes happen, it's always everyone else's fault. It's not his fault.
But I think Marcus Smart hopes he's as good as Draymond someday.
I would rather have Marcus Smart on my team than Draymond Green. Even though Draymond Green, in my top 100 rank, I put Draymond over Marcus Smart. I would rather have Marcus Smart.
Yeah,
I just despise Draymond Green so much.
I bet a lot of fans outside of Golden State and the Boston Celtics probably put Draymond and Marcus Smart in the same category.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, I think if he wasn't playing with 3 and formerly 2 of the best shooters of all time,
Yes.
then he'd be in a lot more close-off offense where people could pay a lot more attention to him.
How many teams in the league would he be the best player on?
Well, he doesn't have to be the best player on the team.
I think it's 0.
Well, yeah, but it's. I mean,
Well, the Nets,
I don't-
because D'Angelo Russell's out
I
right
think
now.
if he's on the Brooklyn Nets, there's no spacing. There's no one to just boost his passing ability by making shots off his passes.
But
the defensive versatility doesn't matter because there's no other good defenders. Everything he does is just completely eradicated. His
Well, he's a
strengths
great
don't
fit with the
matter.
Warriors.
I think teams need that toughness. They need that grit. They need that. And Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are relatively soft in terms of, especially Steph Curry.
Klay is not soft.
Curry in terms of physique, in terms of power and stuff. I mean, that team, and it was before Durant that that Draymond Green. If you go back and Sloan, he loves Tom Izzo, and I like Tom Izzo too. Tom Izzo swears by Draymond Green and said,
Of course he does.
well, yeah, but I mean,
That's
at
not
some
like a
point,
thing to say
a
is
good
to prop up
coach, at some
Draymond,
point, a
like-
good coach, you've got to take what he says about the guy as real. He was saying it as he was coming into the league. He was saying that this guy is
The only
going to
time-
have an impact.
The only time I take anything without a million grains of salt from a college player when they're speaking about one of their players is when they compare them to another one of their players. That's the only time it means anything to me. Because anytime they're speaking abstractly about one of their guys, like, oh, this guy has the most heart I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's just like so stupid. Like obviously you
lot of
freaking
it
love the
is.
guy that
I'll
played
give
under
you
you and
that.
went to the NBA.
I'll give you that.
It's stuff like when Coach Cal, and he's a victim of this too, he's bad. But when Coach Cal comes out and he says like, in comparing Jamal Murray to Devin Booker, like Jamal Murray was better at this, and that's something that you need to pay attention to. But when just Izzo is just saying,
He probably
oh,
even
this is the
says
best
Boogie
leader.
Cousins was a great teammate. Probably.
I don't know. He was probably.
But Willie Cauley-Stein had a nice game this week. Did you see that? He had 22 and 10.
He's pretty inconsistent.
He's
Yeah,
incredibly
really is, but I
inconsistent.
never seen him have 22 and 10.
Something I touched on before. I think Yeager's the second worst coach in the league. Dave Yeager is awful.
Okay.
His rotations make no sense. The
That
Kings.
means you've got somebody as the worst.
Hoiberg is the worst coach in the league.
Yeah.
It's not.
One
Even
of the best trust. But, well, he is.
All right, we can spin the wheel, then we'll play some
And he's given
hats.
Dunn a chance, so I'm glad to see
I love Dunn.
playing.
Dunn looks good. He's on my shirt. I got Dunn on my shirt.
Best of last week.
Best of last week. All right.
Really probably-
You can't get any better than the Celtics.
So best of last week, it's kind of more so like best of the last 4 days because we filmed on Thursday.
Right.
So I think obviously it's got to be the Celtics. In terms of player performances, Kemba Walker dropped 47, but you can't say it was the best of last week because they lost to the Bulls. So there's a lot of different things that you could think of.
I'll tell you the best left-handed inside-out crossover of the week last week was Tatum
Yes,
against
on
the
the
Hawks.
fast break,
Did
yeah.
you notice that on his first dunk on the fast break?
Oh, yeah.
Smooth.
Who was it?
Really
Torian
good.
Prince?
And then the
that did
second
it?
dunk was
Tatum's
better than
cousin.
that.
He's a good defender, too.
Yeah, I agree.
Harden's been on a tear. I know that
Yeah, he
I
has.
kind of dissed him on the top 20 with Kawhi.
So what do you,
ahead of him.
of the off-season all-stars that got put in places, it's looking like Houston's got the best of that pick.
Well, they
Which
don't.
scored 90
know
points
that
in
yet.
Chris Paul's in
90 points
I
in the
just think
first
they
half.
sustained themselves without him.
Okay, so-
and now that he's coming back in, every indication is to me that is going in a way that the other combinations aren't work.
I can see what you mean.
You know, I mean,
He came back and they scored 90 in the first half.
It can't be an accident that Paul George averages 15 a game when Carmelo's on the court and 30 when he's not.
I don't think
You
it's
know,
an
and
accident.
even Westbrook had a 5 for 22.
Yeah, but
games.
that's just the
It's
nature of playing with other
It's the
players.
plague. When he's on the court, it's the plague. It's contagious. Everybody gets it.
Okay, but Steph Curry averages 42 points a game when Kevin Durant's on the bench and only 22 when he's on the floor. Is
So
Kevin
you're going
Durant
to equate Kevin Durant and Carmelo
No,
Anthony?
I'm just saying.
No way.
When
So
good players play together, stats are skewed. That's
what
all
I'm saying
That's
is
all I'm saying.
the All-Star trades. I'm not buying into the Oklahoma City working with that, and they'd be better off without Carmelo.
I think they have time to work out the kinks, and I think that they're still going to be a
There's a lot of time.
top 4 seed in that conference, and they'll work it out. Right now, they're coming back on the edge. They've had some good games here and there. They have a marquee game to prove themselves. They don't need to win. They need to play well against Golden State on Wednesday. So we'll see how they perform then. But I'm confident in their ability to put it together. There's too much strong talent on the team, and whenever players that have been part of super teams get interviewed, they always say the problem with this team is that right now there's no pecking order. Right now, it's all three of them have equal shot at doing each thing individually together. They're all about equal share, and everyone is being too unselfish. And someone needs to rise up, and it doesn't matter which one it is. It's just an order needs to be set in place so that it's understood.
You know how they count the wedgies on the stars? You know how you watch that? They count the wedgies,
yep.
and they're up to 6.
Yep.
We were at 3 on Oklahoma City crunch time assists. Have they got the 4th yet? Probably.
probably.
I'm wondering.
I don't know
That's
Explain the concept of the wedgie.
What the concept of wedgie?
Yeah.
You take a shot and it sticks.
Oh,
That happened against the in the Warriors
Yeah,
Celtics
so
game.
we were
happened.
excited because against the Celtics, it was a wedgie. It was a
got
Klay Thompson. It was a Klay Thompson.
Who do you think leads the league all time in wedgies? Like I don't have the statistics.
I have no idea either. They shoot for 50 in a year every year, and they're
Also,
behind that.
50.
the wedgie should be a turnover. I don't understand why it's a jump ball.
I agree.
Yeah, go back to center
If
court
you missed
too.
that bad.
Yeah.
What a great
just-
terminology. I mean, what a great way to describe
I
that.
love the star. Hey, you know who was on starters? Was your guy from the book?
Shea Serrano.
Yeah, he was on this week.
I like his book more than I like him.
Yeah, I do too. I was disappointed when I saw him. And he also wasn't
disappointed when I saw
and
him.
Shay, he also wasn't as interesting as the book.
No,
Hard
he
to
isn't.
believe
That's
that
what I'm
books that
saying.
interesting.
When
Yeah.
he talks, he doesn't have as many cool things
I
to say.
I
as
had
the book.
high hopes for that.
The book
Takes
is great.
time.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just looking across games. Nothing really crazy
The
happened.
Celtics games were the best games.
The Thunder flopped a victory that they had in the bag against the Spurs. I think it was on Friday night. It was an ESPN televised game. They were up by either 15 to 10. I think by one point they were up by 20 a little bit, but they just fell apart. I think maybe it was 23. Maybe they were up by in the third quarter, and they just made mistake after mistake. And I don't know. Again, I think they're going to.
Toronto won 3 games last week. They weren't against good teams. Unless you count the Knicks as the best team, the probably that they beat, but they did have 3 wins.
What do you think about best case, worst case? Going back a category, even though
Yeah.
that's illegal. The Utah Jazz this year,
No,
because I just saw them.
no.
Yeah, I mean,
I think-
losing Gobert is pretty much
I think
worst case.
their best case is finishing top 6 in the lottery. I think that's their best case.
I didn't know that Rudy Gobert and Hassan Whiteside both spent a long time in a D League. I didn't know
Hassan
that.
Whiteside
Gobert
more
did.
so.
Yeah,
Hassan
well,
Whiteside-
Gobert too, though.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
I
knew
knew a
Whiteside.
long time in the D League before that. I think Whiteside was there for a couple
long-
of
he was
years.
also
Maybe 4 years, a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
it was a long
the D League. But Gobert was there for quite a while before he came up too. But without him, that team's lost its side. One thing we didn't talk about last week is how do you guys feel about that play? Do you feel as though it's pretty controversial the play that took him out? I'm saying it's a dirty play.
I don't know about
Unintentional dirty
play.
play.
Gobert
Unintentional.
play?
There can be such a thing.
Okay, maybe I agree with unintentional dirty play.
I think he won at Gobert. Not with the intention of hitting his knee, but I think he won at Gobert. I think the ball was there, Gobert was there. He needed to go for the ball.
So like right here.
He was more concerned with taking Gobert out of the opportunity to get that ball than getting the ball.
I think it's similar to what Pachulia did to Kawhi Leonard last year, where no, he wasn't intending to injure him, but he was making a bad basketball play.
This was a bad basketball
Yeah.
play. Yeah, because
I'm saying
the ball
in
was
both.
there.
I'm saying in both.
I love Waiters though. Did you see his double spin move to assist?
No.
He came down the lane, spun one way, one dribble, spun the other way around
I
three
like to see
defenders, and then behind the back assist.
Waiters.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I hate
only assist. in the
I hate
game.
Waiters because he went 0 for 10 yesterday for my fantasy team.
Yeah, in
and
the
they
same
lost
game.
me a category.
Over 10.
Well,
one
how'd you
assist.
like to be our nephew James, who had Gordon Hayward as his #1 pick? And
That's sad. That's
Or,
just heartbreaking.
me and Baby James
Oh.
just completed a trade. Shout out Baby James. I'm getting
I
Miles
call him
Turner.
Sweet Baby James.
Sweet Baby James, sure, that's his team name. I got Miles Turner and Eric Bledsoe. I gave him very, very sadly. It hurts my heart, but I traded away Ben Simmons.
Did you just mention Bledsoe? Or?
I got Bledsoe.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the Bucks?
Well, I just feel so
Kelly has a
bad.
bag over his head.
I
like
mean,
he's about to get convicted.
He's in
of
exile. He hasn't played two games in a row. He hasn't even come off the bench. I don't know.
He shouldn't be. He's playing the amount of
I
minutes.
thought he would. I
playing
think
right
he
now.
should be the same backup for Bledsoe as he was for Kyrie, and that Brogdon should be. I love Brogdon. He should be playing off the ball. I don't see
So you want
Putting him in
Brogdon
exile.
taking Snell's minutes?
Who?
Who?
Brogdon's going to take Snell's minutes. Yes.
That's
You know
what
what
you
I
want. You want Delly in the rotation instead of Tony Snell.
No, I want Delly playing the backup point guard role.
I'd like
And
to
it's
see
not a
Delly.
lot of minutes. It's only 10 minutes. I'm not asking for any. I'm just asking for Delly's role.
I think like
and right now he's
eight minutes a
frozen
game.
out. He's frozen out of the role.
Let's get the
Hey,
bag off.
I think it's going to hurt the
I'm on
team.
this. I'm on it.
Well, he's not coming out of exile until he gets some minutes. He's 2 games in a row with 0 minutes.
I'd really like to see the Spurs pair Dellavedova with Prentice on their D-League backcourt.
I agree. All right.
Cleveland wishes they had Delly back.
All right.
I did.
Let's go to some hats. It's going to
Hats?
be the hats version.
How
where
about nicknames? We almost did nicknames after that.
You want to do nicknames? I agree. No hats. Nicknames.
love nicknames.
No hats.
Yeah.
Nicknames. Nicknames. All right. I got some crazy nicknames. I have 90% of the nicknames you've never heard before, so I'm
Okay.
just going to name some of them, and I'll have you guess ones that are more so known.
All right.
So Luol Deng, does anyone know his nickname? No. Man from Sudan.
Oh, why don't you just give the nickname?
Okay. Who is the caveman?
Maybe you should give the name.
I say Robin Lopez.
No, he's not in the league anymore.
Oh,
but-
hang on, I know who it is.
Yeah. He's
He has long Louis Amundsen?
No, he has long, really stringy, gross, like blonde hair. He played in the Clippers for a while.
Chris Kaman.
Yes, Chris Kaman.
Nice.
Came in the
Grocery list.
OJ Mayo.
Yes, OJ Mayo. Okay, this nickname is pretty goofy. Never heard it before, but the yoga instructor for point guard.
These aren't real nicknames.
Okay, so every single one of these nicknames came off of Basketball Reference, which is one of the most reputable statistical
yoga instructor?
basketball
Yogi
websites
Ferrell?
ever. No, he was a former Celtic. He's still in the league. He's jumped around a couple
I like
teams.
my nicknames better.
Okay, you want known nicknames?
Well, who's Clyde the Glide?
Clyde Drexler.
No.
Clyde the Glide. Clyde the Glide is Clyde Drexler.
No.
Who is Clyde?
Clyde
the Glide?
Frazier.
No, Clyde the Glide is Clyde Drexler.
Clyde the Glide is Clyde Frazier.
No, he's not.
He's Walt Frazier.
That's
Oh, Walt Frazier. I'm sorry. It's Walt Frazier.
But
Clyde
Clyde the
Walt
Glide
Frazier.
is not Walt Frazier.
That couldn't be Walt Frazier.
Clyde the Clyde. Well, no, they Clyde. I think they called Walt Frazier.
Was it Walt
Wow.
Clyde Frazier?
Yeah,
And
they
they called him
called-
Well, how
Clyde.
about Ride Clyde?
They Clyde. Sure. Yeah, sure.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Who's the yoga instructor?
Yoga
I was
instructor.
wrong on that.
Apparently, the yoga
Clyde the
instructor.
Glide,
is
Walt
Rajon Rondo.
Frazier. Wow.
Apparently, Rajon Rondo is called the yoga instructor.
Matt even got that when I said Clyde the Glide. He said Walt Frazier when I said Clyde the Glide.
Monta Ellis
Is who?
is the Mississippi Bullet.
I know he's
Wow.
from Mississippi.
Okay, we got a nickname, Lou Hefner.
Lou Williams?
No.
Oh, he had 2 girlfriends. Would have made sense.
Yes. Wow, that's very true. Tyronn
R.I.P. to Hugh
Tyronn
Hefner.
Lue.
Tyronn
chance to-
Lue or Lou Hefner?
Tony Kukoc got some goofy nicknames. The Spider of Split. Who knows what that means? What does that mean?
I've
Spider of
heard that
Split?
before. I
like
think
it
they
a
used to
lot.
say that in 2K, actually.
I like
Spider of
that.
Split? That's
I've
something
heard that.
they say.
I'm not familiar with
I've heard that.
What does that mean? Like he does? I don't know. Okay. And then the Croatian sensation, a little bit more.
Maybe Split is a part of Croatia?
Yeah. What about Cybertwan?
Oh
Antoine
my
Walker.
God.
Antoine Walker for Cybertwan.
Antoine Walker. I
Cybertwan.
could think of a lot of nicknames for him, and it's not. Whoa.
The Armadillo Cowboy.
Cowboy.
The Armadillo Cowboy. Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson.
I helped you come up with all of these,
So-
and I forgot them.
How about Phil Action?
Phil Action. Phil
Jackson.
Jackson.
It is. You got it right. Phil
We
Action.
need a happy medium.
Dollar.
Dame Dollar?
Knicks.
Damian Lillard?
Dollar Bill Bradley.
No.
Ooh,
Yes.
I like that one.
Dollar
Bill.
Dollar Bill Bradley.
My favorite one is Joel Prisabilla, the Vanilla Gorilla.
I like
is
that.
his nickname. Great nickname.
These must be just media nicknames. They're not real
Media
nicknames. I mean, you actually call Phil Action Jackson that. You should call Bill Bradley Dollar Bill.
Okay, so I'll give you some nicknames that are real nicknames that you should guess. The Rain Man.
Oh, Freeze.
No.
No.
Sean Kemp.
Yes, Sean Kemp. Dunker.
Oh, Seattle.
The Panda's Friend.
The Panda's Friend?
True Warrior.
Wow.
Oh, that,
Your pin
Meta
drop
World
in here.
Peace.
Yeah, Ron Artest.
That's a true warrior?
We got some goofy ones.
Takes
The
out any
wild,
fan he can
the
find.
wild Bull of Pampa is Andre
Oh,
Snowden.
I know. I've heard that one.
You've heard the Wild Bull of Pampa?
Yeah.
No way you've heard the Wild Bull of
No, I
Pampa.
can't think of who it is.
It's Andres Nocioni.
I haven't heard Nocione's name in probably 10 years.
Yeah, he's crazy. Mighty Mouse.
Eddie House?
No, just because it rhymes. Damon Stoudemire.
That's who we needed. We need an Eddie House. Remember Eddie House?
Wow, I would love
That would
Eddie
be
House.
love.
Hey, we got Shane
We
Larkin.
need an Eddie House.
He was
for that
really good
second
when we went to
team.
Miami, too.
Do you know that Eddie House only has like 2,000 followers on a social media account?
He's
That's
got,
so
a few,
sad.
he's got a few rings.
But tell me he wouldn't be a good guy to have on that second team.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, well, we'll go to this game. We've got to pick some games, even though Biddies probably won't be here next week. Ben maybe will
Cancel
be.
my flight.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Well, I got the medal again.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
awesome.
see.
Yeah,
I'm-
you
I'm-
should-
I'm
Oh, I
winning.
told you. I
What?
told you about. That's all right.
You
I already
ship
told you
it.
about one. I was excited about one. I
Okay.
found them.
Minnesota at Charlotte tonight. I picked Minnesota.
I would pick Minnesota as well.
Charlotte,
I'll go Charlotte.
Split down the middle. The Clippers at New York tonight.
New York.
I also picked New York.
I pick the Clippers.
I'll take Clippers as well.
Split again. Washington at Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
I'll take Washington.
Okay, Biddy's refusing to go with the norm. OKC at the Pelicans tonight. Probably the marquee game of the night. We'll see Bookie,
Pelicans.
how he goes. Wow, good for you. Two teams you hate.
I'll go OKC.
Rondo's playing.
Rondo's playing.
Best dressed player.
I'll go
Rondo,
OKC too.
best dressed
Best
player.
dressed player.
You're going OKC?
Yeah.
Both of you?
Who do you take?
Okay, I picked Pelicans. Washington at Charlotte tomorrow.
Charlotte. Is Wall still out? Might be.
No, Wall said he's supposed to play
Okay.
tonight, actually.
I'll go Charlotte there too.
Charlotte, we'll see.
They're playing well.
I'll take Wizards again.
Howard's played well.
Howard's played actually very surprisingly well. Portland at Philadelphia. I picked Philadelphia.
Portland. Dame Dollar goes for 50.
50
Quote me on
prediction. I'm not
Philadelphia.
gonna
I want to keep them over 500.
bet. I agree.
They'll slide if
I'll
they.
go ahead and
If they
take Portland.
Okay. Boston at Miami.
I'm not picking against the Celtics for the rest of the year.
Good.
66 more wins for them.
I'll go with everybody this time.
Denver at Houston.
Houston.
Maybe.
Houston.
Okay, so.
Jokic serving
I-
suspended.
But Denver's good. Yeah, that was a weird one, boy.
Did you
but-
watch that game?
Well, but I did hear what happened.
Okay.
The coach charges onto the floor, gets kicked out, and then Jokic gets kicked out,
Mike-
and then Millsap
Mike-
sprains his ankle.
Yeah, ridiculous game.
All of
Mike-
the second
Crazy
quarter.
sequence.
Yes, Mike Malone is like one of the most notorious hotheads in the league. So Jokic got
His father was a coach
Yeah.
at University of Rhode Island.
Jokic gets fouled like four times in a 22-second sequence. No fouls get called. He falls down, transition bucket going the other way. Mike Malone comes out 19, 20 feet onto the court, bumps into the ref as the ref is running the
Ooh,
other
he's
way.
suspended.
Immediate ejection. As he's ejecting the other guy, the ref turns around to do an emphatic injection, bumps into Jokic while he's doing the ejection, and as soon as he's done with the ejection, points at Jokic, ejects Jokic too. Ridiculous.
So just because Jokic
I
was
gotta
standing
see
there?
it because the last
Yeah.
time you described
Wow.
something, it was like Draymond Green beat 5 people up and he just about breathed on them.
He did beat him up. Denver, Houston, who'd you pick?
Houston.
Houston. Who'd you pick?
Which was the game?
Denver, Houston.
Houston.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll go Houston.
I picked Denver. Screw you guys. Golden State at OKC.
Golden State.
OKC.
Golden State.
I mean, this is not. This
Hey,
is
he's
my
got the
grand-
medal.
This is my
He's
mother
got the
speaking,
medal.
you know.
Yeah, he does. Go Charlotte at Cleveland.
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 Boring.
They didn't.
Oh, Charlotte.
Charlotte!
2 weeks ago, I would pick Charlotte.
Cleveland's not bringing it.
Miami at Minnesota.
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 Who you got?
Miami.
It's not an inspiring game.
Denver, OKC. 2 more after this one.
OKC again.
Mike has picked OKC 3 times.
I got Denver here.
Home court advantage.
I'll take Denver.
Portland at Washington. Day after Thanksgiving.
Portland.
They might be full of food.
Portland, Damian Lillard goes for 60. You can quote me on that.
Washington.
110 points from Dame Dollar in 2 games.
Should probably trade for him this week.
I'm hearing good things about Lillard, so I'll take Portland.
All right, last game, the Pelicans at Golden State. They play well at Golden State the past couple times.
Not today. Golden State.
Okay,
Golden State.
I'll go New Orleans.
Okay.
me too. All right, I think that's all the time we got. Mike, you got any final facts, final thoughts to share before we tip our hats?
I had some, but I forgot them all.
Okay, that's good. We'll bring them back next week. Guys, thank you very much for coming back on. Biddies,
Yes.
maybe we'll Skype you in from Chicago from now on. We'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Recurring guest.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Who knows? Maybe we'll just do some other things. Maybe
Good to see you guys.
We need to activate online a little bit more. We've been dropping off on mywheelhouse.com. Welcome to mywheelhouse.com.
Okay.
All right, whatever. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, have a good Thanksgiving.